Hey guys, what's going on? So today I have some unfortunate news for the 2007 Chevrolet Impala. Guys, this thing isn't going to make it to the Derby. And I'm not talking about because it's not finished. This thing's just simply too rotten. I didn't realize how bad this car was. But I've put a lot of time already into this car. I've already moved actually a decent amount of wiring and did a lot of the stripping. You know, I have the front bumper off, radiator, all that out. Went up to the junkyard, grabbed transmission lines because they were leaking, so I could loop the training lines there. Guys, this thing's just too rotted. We'll start with the back, which I wasn't that concerned about. There isn't a good portion of this car, though. There isn't. I mean, there's nothing left to use, really. So the back frame here, I thought was pretty solid until I started tapping it. Well, as I tapped it, more and more fell apart. And, well, that's the rear frame of this car now. Now, yes, that may not be that bad. I know guys have ran worse than that. But I wish I could say that was the bad part of the rear end. Where it really gets bad is where it actually counts. And that's up here underneath this right here. You guys can see here, nothing left. There's your trailing arm. And right there's the frame rail. And right in front of that is where the frame rail mounts there. There's nothing left there. And you can see it almost looks like the frame's starting to separate from the body there. And, well, that's obviously not supposed to happen. It's a unibody car. So there's just really nothing left of this back end. And that's the same way on the other side. Actually, a little bit worse in that corner on the driver's side. I don't know how it gets worse. Sorry, passenger side. I don't know how it gets worse on that side, but it does. And actually on the inside of the car, that's also evident. I didn't realize until I started stepping around on the floor, and I realized I was sinking through the floor. Well, unfortunately, and that almost stopped me from running in the first place, but I'm like, you know what? I'll run it and I'll smash it until there's literally nothing left of the back end of this car. Well, that wouldn't have taken too long to do, let me tell you that right now. This was definitely one run and done kind of car, because there was no floor left in this car. You guys can see there, and it's separated all the way on the seam inside here from, you can see the ground right through there. Yeah, I know the lighting's terrible. All the way through up till about this point. And then through here it's very rusted. And I mean, you guys can see the ground through there. And that is for every single one. Right there. And that's where the rockers are supposed to be. That's because this car has 0 rockers in it. Let me go ahead and take it a little bit underneath here. We'll zoom out the camera a little bit. There we go. Just, it's junk. It's complete junk. And I was still gonna run it. I was still gonna run it for you guys. Normally, if this was my car and I wasn't running a YouTube channel, I probably would have scrapped it after that because it's not worth my time. But I figured, you know what, it's still gonna give me content, stuff like that. So I said, screw it, I'll run it. Don't care. It's gonna be fun to watch the car bend up in like an accordion for the fans. Well, unfortunately, I started to mess with this front end here, and well, I opened the big hole. I opened the big one, and that's why I thought, you know, even if the back end's rusty, the strong part of these W bodies is usually the front end, you know. So I said, as long as the front's not too bad, then we're good. Oh, believe me, they're really, I don't think up to this point I've seen the W body this bad. Let's go and take a look at the passenger side, or driver's side first. So, Over here, obviously pretty crusty, not too terrible. I'm sure it would have blown apart pretty quickly. There's your rust between the strut tower and the frame there where it connects. Very commonplace. I've seen them actually blow apart on the road just because of how rusty they get. This one's not too terrible there. You guys can see it's getting real thin through here. It's almost just enough just to poke through almost. Now, there's the inside. There's nothing left. That's there's supposed to be a retaining square there, and I know the lighting's terrible once again. I apologize for that. I wasn't planning on making this video, but it's not there anymore. This is starting to get pretty thin through here. Exact same place my Regal was rusted out. Then we move over this side. You can see I took the battery tray out here, and well, I wasn't prepared for what was underneath that. That's the frame rail on the passenger side. That's about a 9-inch hole. And that's not even completely where it's rotted. I mean, it's rotted all the way up. I just stopped hitting it. I'm sure that this would go pretty easily up here. You guys can see I'm just peeling off that frame rail. I mean, I bet if I took my sledgehammer here, you guys can see I just bent that pretty easily. I don't know if you see the divot now, but it was pretty easy to bend that. And if I go up front, once again, pretty easy to bend. And that's just barely hitting it. This frame's junk. This frame up front is completely junk. Now, I know some guys that would probably still run this thing, but I'm not one of them guys. Let me tell you that right now, because I'm not going to waste my time putting a cage in this thing. Yes, I was going to put a cage in this thing still, because the back end's so rotted, the gas tank either would fall out of this thing or it'd get crushed so quick, because only a few hits that back end and it's going to be completely in. But the front frame's junk too, so I'm not even going to bother running this thing. It's not worth my time. Now, I'm not going to say no to the rest of the season. I may be able to come up with a car or something, but it's not looking good at the moment just because I got so many other things going on, and now I got to send this thing off to scrap as well, which I can let it sit for a little bit before I do that. But before the snow flies, I'd like this thing out of here. So I'll pull it out of the tent and we'll move on to the next one. No, I'm not going to run the car I keep on teasing about, which is coming up very soon now. I was originally just going to save that for a little while for that video, but that's coming up very soon, and no, I'm not running that car this year. So this might be the end of the 2023 season. Very unfortunate as far as me derbying goes. Very unfortunate, but it is what it is. So stay tuned. I got more content coming up. We got the Fonda Fair next Saturday. That's where this was supposed to run. So very unfortunate, but it is what it is, guys. I mean, I don't know if you would run something this rusty, but personally, for me, it's not worth it. And I already know a guy that wants a bunch of parts off of it, so at least I'll use it for parts and get what I can off of it. This motor has 240,000 miles. It's not worth saving. The tranny's the same way. It still works, but it's not really worth saving. So, and I know this tranny's been ran dry many times, so I bet it's pretty worn out. So, alrighty, guys, stay tuned. I got more content, like I said, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Bye-bye, everybody.